Jordan, Lilley, what does it mean to you as a player to help Bradford achieve a goal and get into the semi-finals after a tough game against Sheffield?
Yeah, it's massive. It's we're 80 minutes away from playing at Wembley now, and it's a massive achievement. Today wasn't about how many points we scored or how many we conceded against. It was just about getting that win to get to the next round. So we've done that, and we're delighted and we're looking forward to it.
How much of a sort of motivational tool was that? This is the prize. Beat Sheffield. You're 80 minutes away in a semi-final from a trip to Wembley.
Yeah, obviously it's something I've never done as a player. Something that I had on my agenda last year, and we got knocked out in the semi-final. So it's another target I set myself, and a goal that I know every player in our team wants to achieve. So, we're striving to do that, and we've just got to take it week by week and not get too far ahead of us. Then we had a tough game against a real good Sheffield side today. We've got strike all over the field, so we toughed that first half out, and went in 8-6, which we were pretty considering how much ball they had, and how much ball we coughed up or give them. To go in 8-6 were quite pleasing, and went in at half time, and maybe got a bit of a rocket, and knew what we needed to do, and the second half, I think from the kick-off I went out and executed that. Bar mine O'Connor play 4 or something, but we sort of give a blueprint for what we're going to work, and we stuck at the second half, and posted I think 30 points, so not real pleasing.
What was your sort of assessment of that first half? You've just said you got a bit of a rollicking from Brian at half time. Was that justified in your opinion? What wasn't going right?
Oh yeah, obviously Brian's quite calm, so it wasn't a rollicking. It's just a stern talking to, and he addressed where we were going wrong, and I think it was clear to see where we were going wrong. We were coughing up the ball in obviously zone half. We were putting him in good positions and then giving penalties away, which when you play good teams like Sheffield you can't do because they punish you. And on a day like today when it's red hot, you don't want to be defending back to back. 7 tackle sets, and sort of putting a kick through, and then we give a penalty away. So we knew we needed to tidy up sort of the discipline side of that, and keeping a cycle. I think in that first period it went set for set for set for set, and we pride ourselves on going set for set with teams, and we cracked first today, which were disappointing. But like I says, we went in at half time and knew where we needed to fix up and come out the second half. We did that, and ultimately we got the win.
How important do you feel Nathan Mason's first try was? You going in 2 points down rather than 2 scores down.
Yeah, we're good, and I think it would come in. We started to play a bit more direct, like we mentioned. The 3 off the bench, really, give us some go forward, and we started to go real direct and punch holes behind the ruck and leave men on the floor, and ultimately it was just a lead line that Nathan Mason hit, which he's been doing, and he was doing for us before he went to Australia, and he's come back and got himself in good shape and fit, and he's showing how good he is.
And for just on Nathan himself, like you say, for him, this will back all that hard work that he's been doing in pre-season, to get himself fit now to the point where, Eben Sker's going to be back in contention for Halifax, and Brian's probably thinking, well, I probably can't be dropping Nathan based on that performance.
We've got that side this year, Mick, that we've got a real good side all round. It's not just the 17 that go out there. We've got a full squad of real good players, and there's players missing out. Bailey Liu and Emmanuel Wane that are currently not playing, and they're quality players that aren't playing, and which just shows the depth of our squad. So I'm real pleased for Natty. He's been obviously waiting in the wings, and he's come in, and he's doing a fantastic job for us, and the others are as well. We've got a real good middle unit, and it makes my job easy at 9 when you've got the likes of Ronan Michael and Natty Mason, Franklin Pele, Bruno, Donnell, and Sam Alice, and the rest just carrying the ball, getting me wins, and then it makes it easy for me to just run about like a lunatic.
Talk us through your try, because it was highly important. It was 60 seconds after Nathan Mason had scored his second, but it probably did put Bradford, probably for the first time in the game, in that sort of, I know there's never a comfortable zone, but it did open up a double score lead to Bradford.
Yeah, it's just one of them things. I laugh because My dad's always sending me clips of players doing it. I think Matt Duffy did it the other week where he kicked through for himself, and he's saying you need to do more of this. And that's just an instinctive thing. It's sort of, I suppose the 9 role frees me up to sort of play like that, and I can scheme out, do my half, and play what I see. And it was just one of them where last tackle anyway, and I'd sort of seen Wacker floating behind for the kick, so I kicked it back on him, and he's one of my close mates, Wacker, and I just said to him after that got one over on him there because I managed to knock him out the way and ultimately get the try. But yeah, they're just sometimes the bounce of the balls for you, and it was for me to do.
And how pleased are you that whatever Brian said at half time, it's allowed you to regroup, refocus. That you've gone out and delivered. Brian, we've just spoken to Brian, and first half obviously issues and work, but certainly the second half, you ticked all the boxes that he asked.
Yeah, it gives us the game plan, him and Greeny and Keith, and they tell us what they want. And I don't think we executed that well in the first half, and we didn't do the things we'd sort of talked about. And I think the speed of the game didn't really suit us and how we like to play. And second half, the talk was just to speed that up and speed the ruck up, and ultimately we'd start to flood through, and we'd be able to pick the passes, and the attack then would come off the back of creating that ruck speed. We tried to play too much off slow rucks, and against a good team, a defensive team, Craig Lingard's got them drilled well defensively, and playing off slow rucks and just killing everything that we sort of threw at him. So I think second half we got the blueprint of carry hard, create that ruck speed, and then play off the back of that. And you've got the likes of Frank and Pele bursting down the wing and shifting out of yardage where we're making meters, and that all comes off what we're doing to Sheffield with the ball. And full credit to that the pack that started the second half. They really got us going forward, and you Warner Blakes and Zach Fulton, Matty G's and Kieran Gill that are carrying off the back of it as well, getting us wins. It's a collective team effort, and this year is going to be about coming together as a team, and hopefully putting that 8-minute performance together soon.
I know we've touched upon this previously, Jordan, but when you look back to last season, you played all 33 games in the halves with multiple half-back partners. You're now in a very different, unfamiliar role to you. We're 10 games into the season. You've played again in all 10. How are you finding that transition? And is the best yet to come?
Yeah, I played all 10 in 10 different positions, and so it's good. I'm just one of these. I think everyone knows me by now that I just want to play rugby wherever I sort of play. I obviously got the 9 shirt this year and knew that my role was slightly different. And when I needed to play half-back, I played half-back and played full-back. I've come off the bench at 9, which it's been a new sort of role for me. I'm a player that's played the last 7 years of starting games and playing 80 minutes, and I'm slowly getting used to the keeping that energy bottled up for 30 minutes while I'm sat on the bench, and then try to bring that into the game when I get used. And I've still got lots to offer, and the 9 role's still new to me. It's not new in terms of that I've played it before, but finding what I do best at 9 and how I can affect the team and make the team better. And I think it's slowly coming with the players around me, knowing how I like to play, and how I like to run, how I like to scheme, sort of tying people up and what I like to do. And I think once that comes, will be a real dangerous side. You've got Luke Cooley at fullback and Jimmy and Joe, which when it clicks and we all start playing, we did last week against Featherstone. It's some slight champagne rugby sometimes, and other times it's not. But that's sort of just rugby, and like I says, I'm slowly finding it, and I'm enjoying it. It's new to me, and it sort of gives me a freedom to play 9 because I get to run about like a lunatic, which everyone knows I like to do, and I like to do the 1%ers. That's sort of one thing that I do pride myself on. Playing 9 is the marker tackles, the line speed. I'm not the biggest, so I kind of have to get off the line and sort of meet him head on, and I'll just keep doing it, and I'll keep showing up for the team, and if Brian's happy with it, then fair play.
I'm kind of guessing, as you've done today in that man of the match display performance, Jordan, you're still an integral cog. You've still got that influence and the ability to affect and change the game.
Yeah, it's we're kind of flowing off each other, me and Mitch. He's going out there, and bless him, we're just talking after he did the first 30 minutes, and for 30 minutes we kind of just coughed the ball up. So for him it's tough. We're we're giving 7 tackle sets away, we're D'ing again, and that's tough as a 9. And I said to him, if I'd have been out there, I'd have been fuming. The fact we were sort of coughing that much ball up and giving them that much possession, and luckily when I come on, the game sort of freed up a bit, and he was just joking me down there saying you always get it like that. And no, it's good. We're bouncing. He's doing all the hard work at the minute in the middle. Not saying I'm not, but I'm getting the back end of it where people are tired and I can scheme and play sort of Isaac rugby. So it's good, and wherever it is, whether it's starting 9, whether it's coming off the bench at 9, I'll always try and make an impact and hopefully build to help this team succeed.
And just away from rugby league, Jordan, clearly a very well motivated, driven individual. If it's not fingers in pies, in gyms, in coffees and pizzas, it's opening up cafes.
Yeah, just rugby's not a long career, is it? And it's not there forever. So I'm one of these that wants to sort of have something for after rugby and have my own thing after rugby, so I can spend time with my missus and my kids and have that freedom to go do that with them and my young family that we've got. So I'm slowly building the cafe. It's going well, and it's good because it gives me that break away from rugby and that release away from rugby that I sort of need, because it obviously, as everyone knows, it's an intense sport, and you have good days, you have bad days, but I've got that release now to go away to the cafe Monday to Friday and do something else.
And just finally, Jordan, these are bye week next week. What have you had any thoughts on what that looks like? Have you got a training schedule, or is it a chance to have a bit of downtime, spend it with the family, have rest before those 2 top of the table games in succession against Halifax and Oldham?
I think it's a combine of both. Sometimes week offs aren't the best thing when you sort of gaining momentum. Obviously, we had a good win last week. We've had a good win this week, and then a week off sometimes can be the worst thing to happen. But we're in training. We've got a full week's training next week, and then we will have some time with family. Me, Nina, and the kids will go away and do something, and it'll be nice to just get away and relax from rugby. But yeah, we've still got the hard work to do. As you've seen today, we had the finished article, and we've got combinations and we've got things to work on, and we'll keep doing that, and hopefully come the next 2 games, which are massive, we'll see where we're at.